Okay, it is soil texture triangle time. So now you need to use a ruler. I'm going to use the metric side of this ruler, and I'm going to go from 0 to 10 centimeters. And I would like you to take your ruler, put it on your page, and see if you have enough space first, okay? So in order to see that we have enough space, we should have at least 10 or 12, probably more like 12 centimeters of space. So what we want to do is make sure that we're able to fit our triangle in here, because our triangle is going to be an equilateral triangle. If you know what a equilateral triangle is from math, it's one in which we have all three sides that are the same size. So now that I have enough space, I'm going to again use the bottom of my page here, the pink margin on the side, I should say, not the bottom, as my initial dot. And then I'm going to go to about 10 centimeters, or I should say exactly 10 centimeters, and put a second dot. Those are going to be the two corners of my triangle. Now I also want to make a faint dot or line, kind of designating the midpoint of my triangle, okay? That way I know where to put the apex of my triangle. So it's going to be right above that dot. And it's nice because my lines with this type of notebook that I chose for myself kind of fit such that each line is about, if I go at an angle, is about 1 centimeter at an angle. See that? So that 10, get it lined up just right, because right above that dot there. Okay, so I'll make it a little bit there. Boom. There's going to be our dot right here, our apex of our triangle. So we got 10. We've got 10. And then this one should also be, if we did it right, 10. Okay. So we got an equilateral triangle. Now we can just connect the dots. Again, try to measure such that we have, and if you have a different rule paper, make sure you measure that you have an equilateral triangle, okay? And I prefer to use metric. 10 centimeters is about the size of the triangle that I want to use for class. Okay. Now, just so happens that my triangle matches with my ruled paper. If it doesn't, you're going to need to measure to make your markings for the sides of your triangle, okay? Because we're going to make markings now. And each marking is going to have a percent designation, okay? So we're going to go with percent clay on the side here. So we're going to say this is percent clay, this side of the triangle. And it's going to go from 0% to 10%. Then we're going to go 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60, 70, 80, 90, and at the top, we've got 100% clay. Okay, so each of these markings represent a percent. And I'm not going to mark them because we're going to add to our triangle, and these blue lines help with that. So the next side we're going to do is percent silt. Remember at the top of the page we put silt as our second to smallest particle size. And we're going to go the opposite way this time. We're going to start with 0% silt, 10% silt, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100% silt. Okay. So then finally, we're going to go with percent sand. Now, on this case, we will need to use the ruler. Okay. You're going to use your ruler to make marks. Okay. So let's go ahead and make graduations or marks. So this would be at the 1, we're going to put a little dash or hyphen, graduation, all the way. Every 5 is already done because we did that for the apex of our triangle. 7, 8, 9 centimeters, and finally we end at 100. And now we want to go through and we want to go up the scale from right to left. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Okay. So now we're ready to add our label for this final axis of our triangle, and that's percent sand. Okay. So sand, as you can see, gets higher as we go this way. Clay gets higher as we go this way. And silt gets higher as we go this way. So now we're ready to add the different components of our triangle. Okay, in order to add the components to our triangle, you're going to need to go to the internet and find a soil texture triangle picture. So just Google soil texture triangle and pull up what you find, okay? In an image search. As you can see, here's my computer. Sorry about the glare from the light. And find one that you can copy. I'm going to use this one here. You can use any of the others. We're going to color ours because we've kind of made a small triangle and we want to label it with color. So I'm going to choose this one, and notice how sand, okay, goes from 10 to 90. Okay, so on my triangle, I'm going to label that as so. You can take your ruler or a straight edge at this point if you have one, and you can draw a line down from 10 to 90, and you need to make a legend because it's going to be hard to write sand in there. I'm going to color this. You'll need colored pencils at this point. If you don't have colored pencils, you can wait, do this in black and white, and see me in class, and I can give you some colored pencils. But go ahead and shade your sand component in, and down below, at the bottom, below your triangle, we're going to label, make a little legend box, and we're going to label that sand. As you saw in the picture that I was looking off the internet, that was a brown color. I chose green. You don't have to have the same colors as the picture on the internet, although brown with sand is probably more appropriate. But most of these soils are going to be some shade of brown, gray, or dark in color. So I decided to use green since it was in my pack of colored pencils. Choose whatever color you like, and then move on to the next one. The next one for me that I'm going to use is going back to my internet picture, loamy sand. So again, I noticed loamy sand goes halfway between 10 and 20, 15, down to 70. So we're going to make a mark at 15 here, halfway between 10 and 20, and we're going to go down to 70, okay? And we're going to take our straight edge or a ruler, and we're going to make a line that marks that off. And again, this doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. What I'm trying to do here is to get you to have an appreciation of the soil texture triangle that we'll be using in this class, and you know all the different components that are involved in it, okay? Again, make another box for your legend that lists that next component, which is loamy sand, so that if someone were to look at the top triangle, you would be able to tell them that blue color is loamy sand, or whatever color you choose for your triangle. Red, yellow, doesn't matter. As long as you make it based on this particular triangle that you pulled off the internet. And again, choose whichever triangle you want to model after. And again, you should, when it's all said and done, have a nice set of notes, okay? If you're struggling and you mess up this triangle, you can always go on to the next page, just say, oops, messed up. If you're really struggling, you can maybe print off a triangle and paste it into your notebook. But in years past, it's always a good idea to practice and draw out the triangle. Here's a student's notes from years past. You can kind of see the same thing, and this is the final display of our triangle and our notes that we did. Okay, so that's going to be our soil notes for today's lesson, and we'll talk about these next time we're in class. If you have any questions or if you need any help with your notes, feel free to reach out to me again. Feel free to try the triangle again. I recommend a ruler or straight edge to help you, but try to put each component in, and I will see you in class. All right, this is Mr. Thomas signing off for now.